is how it treats its women and girls. The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls.
We create
the smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
We can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me. Many of these girls have faced unthinkable obstacles just to attend school. The measure of any society is how it treats.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I am one of your hosts. Also, my co-host, Donna. How are you, Donna? Donna. Okay, so we'll go to Maria then. Maria, how are you this morning?
Good morning.
How are you?
Eager to get this week over with.
Oh my gosh, it's lasted forever, hadn't it? Oh my
I
gosh.
feel like it.
If you want to join us in the conversation, give us a call, 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. Maria, what's on the front of your mind this morning?
I mean, take your pick.
I mean, there's
Healthcare CEOs equate to terrorism. Elon Musk controlling our government.
that is just the most terrifying thing. I mean, everything he touched turns to poop. I mean,
You know what I was thinking about, honestly, this morning when you want to talk about Elon? It's like there's like this pattern of squirrely attention, right? Like
yes.
one minute he's paying attention to Twitter, now X, and then blowing it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then he pays attention to a thing over here, and then he pays attention to a thing over there. It's like the entire world is his shiny little objects.
Well, that's the way he was raised, though. He's the son of an emerald miner in South Africa. So, I mean, yeah, silver spoon all day long, no doubt. And then, yeah, he finds his next little project, and there we go.
Yep.
So it terrifies me that he is going to be in charge of anything in the government because, I mean, we've seen what he does. So it's I'm not looking forward to that, nor am I looking forward to JFK having a say in whether people get vaccinated. So it's like, yeah, let's just sell all these weirdos. Let's just sell seats to them and let them run the government as they see fit. And there's no
What's the worst that could happen, right?
Yeah. And there's no question that Trump has absolutely no interest in the public welfare or public health or anything like that.
But do any of them
Not
have
enough.
any interest
No, you're right.
Within the best interest of the American people or relief or anything like that? I mean,
that's a great point. And you're right. No. And it's like, here we are again, circling the issue that
and no one and they will never suffer the consequences of the carnage.
Right.
But
like
Luigi's the terrorist.
Yeah,
okay,
Luigi's the terrorist. Okay, yeah. So you're right though, because it's like, here's Joe Biden, and I'm gonna beat this drum yet again because I only have about a month left to do it. Well, no, I guess I can beat the drum until forever because his legacy is, as Donna says, writ large, and so it's like. He could be doing all kinds of things, putting all kinds of things into motion. And what's he doing? Pardoning A, his son, and B, all these multimillionaires who've gotten caught doing shady things. And it's like, okay, now you see, people should see anyway, that the mask is off. And this is, this is who Joe Biden always was. He was never a good guy. He never had the people's interest at heart. So, he has way exceeded every low expectation I had of him.
Is running the government already. They condemned, Trump and Musk condemned the spending plan that Dems and Republicans, bipartisan plan to avoid a government shutdown, did the thing, and they don't like it, so they're already running the government. We don't even have to wait until January.
Right. And so, good morning, Donna.
Good morning.
And so, it's... I don't know. And all this hand wringing, oh my God, what's going to happen? Well, it's not. We need to. All right, let me give this early disclaimer because I'm about to say some pretty incendiary stuff. The opinions expressed on Zurly Voices are those of Zurly Voices and not those of WMNF. It's time for the whole thing to implode because it's all rotten to the core. It's like, one bad apple spoils a whole bunch. Well, the whole thing is spoiled and the whole thing is rotten. And it's going to get interesting. Let's put it that way. We'll have lots to talk about every week as long as Trump let us stay on the air. So.
Speaking of shiny little things, right?
Yes.
Speaking of shiny little things, they're so focused that Chuck Schumer could get everything they want instead of actually looking at the bill. They can't look at it because it's too huge.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have time to review it. Mm-hmm. They looked at the top line, like most people do.
Right.
And they said, we don't like it. Democrats are getting too much stuff.
Right.
Democrats, as if the spending is going to go in the Democrats' pockets.
Exactly.
That's so petty and mindless.
Well, and they've been doing that forever, though. It's like when you go on the internet and you read the headline of the story, and then you go in and you read the story, and the story's 99% of the time the headline was just clickbait to get you into the story. But you got all these yahoos downstream who aren't reading the story. They're only reading the headline and expounding like college professors. And it's like, wait a minute. Did you even read the story? And the answer is always no. So, it's exactly the same thing on the same kind of wavelength.
It's exhausting. But,
I know.
But it's a choice, right? Like, I feel like this is like toddler government.
Yes.
You have to you just have to let them have their temper tantrum, lay on the floor, do whatever, and like occupy your time some other way. Because this is bananas.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to hear more about what they plan on doing with Social Security. It sounds like they backed down on some of the cuts, but it sounds like they still may be moving the age of retirement up in 2025.
Mm-hmm. That's what I read yesterday, that if you're born after 1960, you do not get full benefits until 67.
Oh, it's I thought it was like that now.
No, it's 65.
Ah, okay. Wow. Dang. All right. So we're getting getting the emails.
I heard that.
Let's see, ladies, I very much appreciate that you all are sticking with it and trying to fight the good fight. But really, the only way to maintain sanity at this point is to acknowledge that our experiment in democracy has now officially ended in failure. I hate to be a wet blanket, but actually, I consider this a very realistic view. There's not going to be any fixing this by voting. He made it clear that he just needed people to vote for him this time, and then we'll never have to vote again. The un-American anti-democracy forces, unfortunately, won. They brainwashed enough of the country and rigged the system to their own benefit. So now we've got Viktor Orban in Hungary or Putin in Russia, a president for life. Charles in Tampa. Thank you, Charles.
This experiment has died a long time ago. This experiment died even before Citizens United.
Right.
It died a very, very, very long time ago.
It's well, and we're seeing the lens of privilege once again, because it's like for folks who were always on the short end of the stick, it's like, yeah, business as usual, and those of us who have been on the other end of the stick are saying, oh my God, the world's falling apart. Let's see. This one says, I, Skippy, on it all being rotten to the core. And it's not signed, but thank you. And in our feeds, all the headlines are identical because it's mostly AI. AI terrifies me. Let me just be honest. It's like because I do Google searches a lot for all kinds of different reasons, but the end of the end of the, where was I going with this? Dang, I have not had enough coffee yet.
AI terrifies
AI,
you.
yes. AI terrifies me because it's like I'm doing a Google search and something will pop up and it looks really good. And then I look at it and it's like, this is AI. I can't trust AI. I have to go and find a reputable source, because how are you going to cite to, AI told me this. So...
Well, I was watching this. I ended up on the wrong side of YouTube last night, and so I got into conspiracy theorists. Actually, don't sound so silly anymore to me. I mean, and I'm not talking about some of the stuff that you would listen to. I'm talking about the UFO alien part of YouTube.
Oh,
And
okay. I've been
this
there.
guy was, yeah, but this guy was talking and he was saying, hey, we don't know what's going on with the drones. We don't know anything. But here are some of the things I think could be happening. It could be nothing. But I want to talk to you guys tonight, he said, about what is a psyop? How do you know you're witnessing a psyop? And one of the things he said on the list, there are about 8 things. He said that all of the headlines, I'm shocked that you said this morning, are the same.
Mm-hmm.
They're all the same. And that's one of the ways that you know that you're getting a news story and there's no follow-up to any of these stories. So you get a story and there's no follow-up. It just disappears.
Right.
There's no development of the story. There's nothing that you go back and you say, oh, well, that just ended. And we do that sometimes. You go back and you go to try to get some background on a subject, and you find that the thing happened and then it was in the news for 3 days and then it was gone.
Right.
And so
yeah.
It got me thinking.
Yeah. I mean,
because we've gotten a lot of that lately.
Exactly. Let's take a call. It's Jiminy in Jacksonville. Hi, Jiminy.
Hey, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you.
I have a haiku for y'all today.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's been a minute, but it's to hear such strong words, pierce the valve holding back change, release a new wave.
Oh, that could go either way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Spend a minute on that one. There's a lot of different things in there. But you're talking about like psyops and stories and things like that, especially because y'all know I'm in the TikTok trenches. So So it's like you have these storylines and you get different information, especially with the United Healthcare case. It was like all of these different sort of information from different people, and some of it was like counteracting each other. So you have to be really careful about what you're like actually listening to and taking into your understanding of reality, because like there are so many people on the internet, you never know what you're getting.
Right.
Yeah, but I hope you'll have a great day. Thank you again, and bye.
Thank you, Gemini. So one of our listeners says the stick got shorter. Amen. Yeah. Well, it got longer for some folks because the Elon Musks of the world have made part of the stick like invisible, and that's where they dwell. So,
Well, I stumbled upon a thing the other day
okay.
To illustrate that point about being careful, like know who you're talking to, understand their politics. I think we're getting to that part of this where it used to be, hey, my friend is a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that anymore. You could be standing next to someone who would like to see fashion ushered in expeditiously.
Mm-hmm.
To that point, there was a woman in California, and she owned a store, and someone was disgruntled about the store, disgruntled about this woman, and they had said some racist things, and they were like, "Look at this person, and she owns the store, and we should leave bad reviews because blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm unsure about if." Someone saying something nasty on the internet automatically follows that we should pile on and try to end their livelihood. That seemed extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I clicked on the store and the person's file, and the first thing that I find that was a public post, or the first interesting thing, was here's what's on my mind today. A full index and timeline of the new new is emboldened, Constitution. Project 2025. Welcome it with all your blood, sweat, and tears.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And so this is what happens when you're in an echo chamber. You would never see a post like that from any of the people that you're friends with. And that's also the problem with Blue Sky, because this woman is a public person. People know her in the community, and she is raising the colors.
Dang.
And then she posts a link to Project 2025 for her friend group so that they could see exactly what exciting and amazing things are in store for us in the upcoming 4 years.
Wow.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, and marching with your bad Yelp reviews is the new activism, pretty much, because it's like... When Luigi got caught, he was at McDonald's in Altoona, and people bombed McDonald's with horrible reviews, like anybody needed to know that fast food is not good. But anyway, so yeah, it's like I'm against doxing myself, and I don't support it, but I mean, I can see the effectiveness of it sometimes in cases like this.
My fear, though, the other side of that is that it will force people underground.
Yes.
And then we will have no way of knowing who the bad actors are.
True.
And because it's so bad, because there's so many opportunities now for people who want this to happen, we really need to know who they are and where they are.
Right. It's like, when people self-proclaim as racists, well, at least you know who they are and they're standing up and saying it. Everybody else isn't really saying much of anything. So,
right. But we've grown another layer.
Yeah.
Right. What if you're harboring a family with young children that are being sought by ICE? I mean, I know people in the community who would do that.
Mm-hmm.
I know people in the community who are active and focused on helping immigrant families that are in the clutches of INS because they've raised their ire in some way or other. And imagine your 80-year-old friend who does that mission. Imagine them being dragged off to jail for collusion.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Frightening. Absolutely.
Well, we gotta start thinking about it.
Yeah. Let's talk to Gary in Clearwater. Hi, Gary.
Hello, Dave. You know what? What are we going to do for the next 4 years? I need your advice.
Okay.
Do you have any?
Suggestions? Just, you have to, my suggestion would be you have to stay focused on maintaining your health, your welfare, and then looking out for your neighbors, because it's, it has the potential to be quite a debacle. Maria, Donna, do you have any advice for Gary?
Well, I had a friend yesterday that was needed to go to the hospital because they had come down with the flu, and because they have asthma, it kicked them into like atrial fibrillation.
Oh,
A lot of taxed their heart. And so they said, hey, I don't want to get an exacerbation here and end up in status asthmaticus. And so I'm going to take myself over to the ER. Well, the doctors at TGH agreed that this was a bad thing. And she had, some comorbidities and didn't want the smoke.
mm-hmm.
So they said, we're going to send you over to admin. Well, they send her over. We have a bed. So let's just bring her over here and we will admit her here. Well, they take her over and they go, oopsie, we don't have a bed. So just going to park you right here in the hall.
Oh,
right?
gosh.
And so they're in the hall from 3:00 in the morning. I don't get the message until 9 a.m. They did not get a bed until 9 a.m. this morning. I was on the phone with them when security came in and says, you can't be filming in here. Well, we all that have iPhones know you can't film and record at the same time, video.
Mm-hmm.
And so with me being on speakerphone, I asked this person that do you have an iPhone? Yes. You know that you can't record while you're on the phone? Yes. So do you see the time? Can you show him the time that you've been on the phone? Yes. And then he launched into another speech about recording, knowing clearly that she wasn't recording. And so her phone died and they wouldn't help her with the cord. They don't have to do that. So I'm not saying that they do. So I DoorDashed a cord to the hospital and said, I'm on standby if you need me to come up.
Mm-hmm.
This is the kind of help, and this person is uninsured. So this is the type of help that we will have to support each other with. It seems like a small thing, but a situation like that, someone could die being harassed by the police in a hospital because these folks who do this sort of thing are emboldened. And so we're back to that initial conversation about mutual aid,
Right.
Gary, where we have to, normally your friend is in the hospital, they don't get along with the staff. They're in the hospital. They're in the best place they can be. I can't provide the care for them that they're going to get there. And so they're just going to have to drink the little juice cup and wait their turn. Okay. But in this environment, absolutely not. I will be at that hospital today. And I will talk to those individuals. I will make sure that I can access her medical information. And I will work with them to make sure that they are enacting a plan that is centered on her care and not on harassing her. This is the type of stuff that we're going to have to lean into in this situation. Another situation, we've got a person in a wheelchair and their insurance, their DME benefit doesn't reach to the level of wheelchair, of transportation device they need. We will have to raise money in the community. What I've noticed, though, Gary, is that people are a little bit sleepy on this. I would say in 2019, before COVID, if you posted something and you said, hey, I need everybody to put $50 that can on this, people would do it. So what I'm doing right now is waking these folks up. I'll give you another situation and then I'll stop. Young man, this is all on Facebook, so this is not a HIPAA violation, and I'm not bound by that, who got a job as a truck driver, brand new career, second half of life. And his back started hurting, he had sciatica. He went to the doctor and they said, okay, well, you got sciatica. They treated him. And then he went back again and they treated him. But the third time he couldn't walk.
Oh,
And so his job said, listen, he lives in Tampa, he lives in Orlando. He's all the way on the other side of the country in like Minnesota or something. Okay. And they say, you've got to go back to Orlando. So they put him on a plane to send him back to Orlando. Wife takes him to the hospital immediately. They tell him, they run some tests, and they come back and they say, you have multiple myeloma. So now this man has stage 4 cancer.
oh, wow.
And the job that he just got is saying, hey, we're going to give your stuff away to the other truck drivers if you don't come and get it. So fortunately, they were able to raise a couple $1,000s and get his stuff. But they dropped him off the insurance plan. I think his last day was the end of October. So November, he has no insurance, right? Somewhere along the way, they dropped him. I don't know if it was December 1st, but the insurance plan that he could get through the marketplace does not cover the care he needs.
What about Cobra? Doesn't he have Cobra?
$800 a month,
Yeah.
which they cannot afford. Now he doesn't have a job, remember?
Right.
And so this and his wife's job will not cover that sort of expense. The community would have to put together a Patreon, and 400 people give $2, 80 people give $10. So to pay for that Cobra until this man can get on the other side of that, otherwise he's going to die. And everyone refused to begin treatment until he could pay for that chemo that he needed.
Wow. God,
Right.
that's
So,
horrible.
I'm sorry. Remind me who the terrorist is again?
Yeah.
right. So I'm back to mutual aid. You look at those two situations. I tried to get through it as fast as possible. This is where, when someone said that we were selling hopium, when we brought up mutual aid
yeah.
and how big this is going to be, it is going to be life or death for some people, for their community, particularly our vulnerable people, particularly disabled folk, particularly our senior folk, and people who have children that are ill. They're going to need us. And then they evicted 10 families in a group unit. The other day, 10 families out of 10 units. They just came and cleared the whole place out. So that's where mutual aid comes in. And people kind of like scoffed at it, but it's going to become the thing. Because if our government is holding our tax dollars hostage,
Right.
and they're not going to help us, we've got to help each other.
Exactly.
You know, I have a friend, this Hispanic pastor, and she was crying.
Mhm.
Said, what's going to happen to my people?
Oh, yeah.
And how sad
Yeah.
is that?
Right.
And for 4 years, I used to put up again with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Is that sick? Okay, I see you guys.
Thank you so much for calling, Gary.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
So you guys, one more thing I have for you before we go to the next caller.
Okay.
Mutual Aid Disaster Relief on Facebook. That I will post that. I will make sure, because a lot of times I say I'm going to post that on our page and I don't. I will post the link on Early Voices today. These people don't just do disaster relief. They also do feeding. They also can help you coordinate free clinics and things like that. And even things like, hey, I need a wheelchair, I need a rollator, I need crutches. I need a new CPAP machine, things that people may not be able to get, things that matter, things that are life and death. Hey, I need help with my insulin this month. Well, you should need help with insulin, because I think we took care of that. But even if you need the $35 that it's supposed to cost, rather than ration it, like this kid Alex did and pass away, we need to be reaching out and connecting to these networks.
All right. Let's get to Howard in Clearwater. Hi, Howard.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Lovely show. Off to a good start. That's
Thank
a great comment from Gary. I think, I've been thinking recently that we pay a lot of attention to what goes on in the White House, obviously. But it really is locally, as Donna was saying, local community people need our support more than ever, especially when the economy starts to go down. People begin to notice what's missing. So paying attention from an educational standpoint. We don't do enough education of our kids through schools. The school system is an industrial-based system, and they don't learn what they need to know when they get out of school. So they come into society pretty well uneducated about what their role is or should be. So it's a long-term project to change that. But if you don't start changing it now, you're going to be in the same position in 20 years as we are today, where you get this kind of presidential election with people who are severely uneducated about what they should be paying attention to.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's politics. That's what they do well. But from going forward, we will have President Vance in 4 years.
President who? Vance?
Vance.
Oh, God.
4 years or less.
You're right, because Trump's looking kind of frail nowadays. I saw a picture of him yesterday, and it's like, wow, he's declining.
Diminished.
Yeah, diminished.
There's no competition for him.
Right.
The playing field is not level. It's tilted one way, and that's the only way it's going to go in 4 years or less. So think about what's going to happen then. But in 3 years, we have congressional elections. That's where the most people should be paying attention to, not what Vance is going to do in 4 years. Because if you can flip Congress control, you can severely limit what the White House does.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty close margin. Senators are what they are. The congressional, I think the DNC kind of threw the game. They didn't want to win. But
they sure didn't act like they wanted to win, I'll tell you that.
You could have won that one.
I know. I should have thrown my hat in the ring. Dang, if I'd have known it was going to go that way.
Right.
But 2 years from now, from a political standpoint, that's where people's focus should be. Yeah, we like to talk about the news that happened last week and the week before. That's good. We need to understand that. But educating people from a perspective of neutrality, not political, but it takes time to do that. But if that was me, that was what I'd be doing. I'll be talking to people, and I'm one of those 20% that doesn't just let things pass by.
Yeah.
I'll get involved. I'll start talking to whomever is willing to listen and, pick up the pieces, because we need to pick up the pieces.
Right. Exactly. All right. Thanks.
Have a wonderful Christmas season.
Thank you.
Thank
you too. Bye-bye. All right. Let's go to Mike in Sarasota. Hi, Mike.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I wanted to respond to the advice that you gave to Gary when he asked what we should do over the next 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'd like to mention is what has worked in the past. And this was when Thomas Jefferson and his side of politics were voted out in the second presidential election, and he was fighting Hamilton and Madison, who were more authoritarian. They wanted a stronger central government and less populist.
Mm-hmm.
And in the famous words of Thomas Jefferson, he said, "Give them enough rope, and they will hang themselves." And I think that that's going to happen with the Trump administration. They're already proposing all kinds of radical things, and I think what we need to do is we have to just wait, and they're going to create such problems for themselves that then we, the people, and various people can respond and strike back at them.
All right. Thanks so much, Mike.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Shayna in Winter Haven. Hi, Shayna.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Yes, people were talking about public schools. Some of us volunteer in the public schools here in Polk County, and they're begging people to volunteer. These class sizes are huge. I know that in the past people keep saying Florida voted to have smaller class sizes. Well, I don't know what happened, but it didn't work. And so these teachers are in these classrooms. They need volunteers to come in and help these little kids, fifth graders who don't know how to read at all. And most of these kids are people of color. And bottom line, the little kids have given up hope. The little kids have no chance. They don't think they have a chance. So we got to be positive. I think we have to be more positive, telling people things they can do, like you did here and now. Reading programs for little kids. We do have a reading program here in Polk County for little kids, and we need people to volunteer. And it is difficult to volunteer. They make it harder to get in, but we can't give up.
Great idea, Shayna. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Important.
Bye-bye. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, shoot, when you're retired or you got time on your hands for one reason or another, that's a great idea. Chris.
But the idea that we have to depend upon people to volunteer.
Right.
Right? when and we're not paying the teachers that we have enough, right?
Yes.
And people don't have health care, right?
Right.
At what point do we decide that this is a failed state?
Oh, I think we're way past that point.
Okay. I mean,
yeah.
if I had kids and living in Florida, I wouldn't have hope either.
Right.
And,
Right,
and
'cause-
this has been decades and decades of neglect.
Yes.
And dysfunction and dismissal of what our priorities should have been.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Education and public education should have always been a priority.
Right. Well,
And the idea that we're depending upon volunteers, and we're not even and these are the same volunteers that we're going to ask to help support mutual aid, right?
Mm-hmm.
At what point does the entire thing collapse?
Good question.
Because we're literally holding it all together with bubble gum and duct tape.
Right.
While Jeff Bezos is flying into to Palm Beach on his private jet, kissing the ring at Mar-a-Lago.
Right. Good point.
Well, let me say this to that. Yes, I agree with Mike, what he said about, and that was going to be one of my comments, but we're trying to get through our callers, that there is going to be some trouble in paradise. This is not going to go well. Last week when when Musk went public on Twitter, he kind of backed Trump into a corner because of his pick for Treasury. And either Trump has to, go against him to prove that, he's not going to be pushed around or bullied. Or if he chooses Trump's pick, then it looks like, he was backed into a corner and it makes Trump appear more weak to the public, to his public. So that is the beginning. They have not even taken their places yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a full expectation that we'll see some Bannon Trump-like issues. Bannon himself says that he never had a problem with Trump except when he told him some stuff about the election last year. I don't believe that.
Right.
I think there was a reason why Bannon wasn't figured prominently, was absent in the second in the second half of the term. So I think that someone like Kennedy and Musk, they're both cocksure of themselves, are not going to get along. Although Kennedy did back down on the Ozempic derision that he had going, saying that people don't need bariatric interventions, that they need to simply exercise and eat right, which sounds like something from the 50s, right? So we've got everybody on these, horrible diets, and we sell these industries, ADM and companies like them are selling all this terrible food, and then the guy says, what the problem is? Self-discipline. That's it. Okay.
Wow.
And so we have gambling and drugs and all these other things. They are diseases of despair, right? And then there are real healthcare components to addictions and obesity. But yeah, let's just cure it with self-discipline. Sounds like abstinence to me. It's never going to work. Like, that's not how people are set up, right?
Right.
So they're going to clash. And there's what's his name? Musk, and there's Kennedy, and who's the other guy that sits right next to Trump? That Vance. I haven't heard anything from Vance. Does anybody wonder about that?
Vance is just a shapeshifter. He's going to mold himself to whatever is the going concern at the time. So,
but terribly quiet.
Yeah, very quiet. And and I didn't realize this until they had the vice presidential debate, but that dude can lie with the straightest face and the most convincing blue eyes you ever saw. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Maria, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. I just, part of it is that, to Donna's point, is the narcissist must have center stage.
Right.
And at some point, the battle between and he knows that that he has limited resources, and that all of his resources are just imaginary to begin with, and he needs Musk, but he can't stand the idea of
Yes.
sharing the stage with him.
Mhm.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. But I get frustrated at the idea that people are going to suffer as a consequence.
Mhm.
But then, and then what happens, right? Like you have people who too quickly forgot, that we spent 2.5 years in lockdown,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, was I better off 4 years ago than I mean, come on, really?
Right. Yeah. Excuse me. Let's get to Chris in Gainesville. Hi, Chris.
Thank you very much. It's a great conversation. I just wanted to emphasize one perspective, which is that all of these deregulation moves that are being considered by the new administration are going to really severely impact our children, because what we're doing is saving money on regulatory stuff so that the rich can get richer and not have to spend so much money keeping their environmental assault out of the way of children mainly. And the big point here is that children are the most who are adversely affected by pollution. That's just an example of regulatory, the regulatory atmosphere that needs to be approached. Pollution affects children far more than the rest of us healthy, young, robust folks like us, because children's biology and physiology can't handle the impacts of chemicals as much as older folks, especially men. The second most impacted by that kind of deregulation are women, whose reproductive tracts are sensitive to pollution more so than men. And then the third is elderly and the infirm. Meaning that the most vulnerable among us are the ones who are going to be impacted by that form of deregulation, but that carries over to all other forms, particularly the insurance industry and any of the other industrial regulations that are going to be slackened and if possible, even more diminished enforcement, which there hasn't been much at all, even lately, as some of your commentators have mentioned. It's a long time ago that things were broken, but they're going to get even more broken. And so the one comment I wanted to hear that you all might have is how you've approached what can we do now? And one of the things we can do is realize the disparity in our legal system, which really comes down hard on the street crime and that kind of thing. But every regulatory administrative clause in the laws, in Florida at least, I'm not sure about other states, every one of them is a crime, has also got a criminal component to it. Basically, what it says is if you commit these violations of the regulatory administrative law, there is a criminal penalty associated. And it's hardly ever used because they've got the DEP and the other regulatory agencies to cover for that administratively, and it doesn't go to criminal court or to the criminal field. So you don't have the state's attorney bringing charges. But that can be done. There is an actual crime that's associated with every violation of administrative law. And that would be a good way to go. And for folks, maybe, as one of the ways we can approach this, to realize that if they are ever chosen to be on a jury, or to the extent they have influence over the law enforcement folks and judges in particular and attorneys in general who are using the legal system, to realize that it's not functioning well, and it's coming down on the most vulnerable among us, who are the ones who are being hurt most by these more elite criminals, if you will, the super rich, the 3% who own so much of the economy. So that's what I wanted to hear, and also any other approaches you all have that we can do in the face of the fact that things are so far broken. And to me, it looks like we're may have real trouble getting through the next 4 years as an intact country. What are the positive things we can do aside from encouraging journalism and discussion like this?
All right. Thanks so much, Chris.
Thank you.
So, Donna, Maria, what are things we can do right now to...
I think that the first thing is to give a damn.
Right,
The
yeah.
second thing is, to Donna's point, is mutual aid, right?
Mhm.
There are going to be a lot of people that are going to be impacted, and there's going to be a snowball effect. Undocumented workers,
Yes.
right? Those people who are integral to our economy on so many levels are going to be impacted first, and we will be paying the price for that. But mutual aid is going to be essential with respect to helping families, helping to secure legal assistance. You know, the ACLU was busy, very busy during the last Trump administration.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, be thinking, we know what is going to happen. It's just going to happen on steroids. And so what were you doing to help then? Or what would you have done differently 4 years ago? Do it now. Plan for it now.
I have what may be a controversial idea, but it's okay. Last go round, there were plenty of protests pretty much on every single issue, and it made no impact whatsoever in what Trump did or did not do. And so I've seen posts about this national march on Washington, and I'm saying to myself, yeah, because it worked so well last time. So instead of putting your energy into doing that, focus on mutual aid in your community where you can actually make a difference. What do you guys think about that? Donna, Maria?
100%. I'm not protesting. I don't believe in protesting. Well, I do, but I don't. Right? Like, I don't believe that you use it to call attention to a thing.
Yes.
But you still have to address the thing.
The thing, yes. And yeah, because I have seen protesting make a huge difference, but it wasn't on a national level. It was in a community level. So I think, yeah, the National March, yeah, it's great. It's performative, in my opinion, now, whereas I don't necessarily think I would have labeled it that before.
The Pink Pussy Hat March, when you think about it, how much more effective would it be that instead of the day after the election, instead of marching and protesting, how about talking to your mother and her bridge club so that 50% of white women were not voting for the monster?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I no longer believe in protesting in that as simply as a fulcrum to apply pressure. And create fractures that bring about motion. When it was at the zenith of these different movements, whether it was for the immigrant rights after the immigrant bans, after the travel bans, whether it was after we saw people suffering, that people were made afraid, and we had to go to Plant City and give people gift cards and hats and formula and cooking oil, which was a big thing. So there was that. BLM, of course, the trans liberation movement. We use protest in all of these movements of marginalized people, whom, as one of our callers pointed out earlier, are affected in greater proportion. That it was important then to always protest that so that our local governing bodies could see that people in their communities wanted to see change around these issues. Now, I've talked about this before, I think that we are at the end of protest and what it can do, all the way back to the Iraq War. 1 million people marched in the streets of London in a very short period of time, and to no avail. Right. And I believe that these governments now realize that if they just wait us out, they're going to, we'll get to the other side and we'll be on to the next thing. Oh, Bennifer, they're getting divorced. People, have been like that. I suggest reading, to Maria's point, I suggest reading Micah White's book. You can get it on Amazon, The End of Protest. where he lays out all of the reasons why we have to do these other things that she's pointing to.
Okay. Well, let me lighten the mood because David has sent us an email and it says, "Hi, ladies. I had an idea for Elon to make some more money. He could release his own men's cologne and call it Elon's Musk. It would smell like scorched earth and flop sweat."
And sour grapes.
Yeah, and sour grapes. Catchphrase: "Somewhere between cruelty and fealty, billionaires rule the world. When you're ready to burn it down, turn to Elon's Musk."
That's that must have been when he sat and he looked Don Lemon in the eye and he said, "Elon," he said, what's his name? Don. "Everybody's been slaves. Everybody was a slave. It just depends on the time, whether it was sooner or whether it was in the distant past. We've all been slaves. And what we need to do is we can start talking about race so that we can get on with things." And Don was speechless. He kept trying to get a word in edgewise. He couldn't understand what the person in front of him was saying.
Yeah.
I thought, gosh, this is the richest man in the world. This is wild.
Right. Man. Okay, let me get to another email here. What do y'all think about Matt Gaetz's ethics report being released? That will be juicy. What a scumbag. Bubba. Bubba also says Biden's current philosophy is Biden my time. Amen, 1,000%. What a disaster this dude turned out to be. But anyway, so yeah, I would love for the ethics report to be released. I don't know that it ever will be now because, as has been pointed out, Trump seems already to be in charge. So even though Gaetz stepped out of consideration for the cabinet post, he's going to come back because he's too much of a sycophant not to.
Yeah. Can't stay away.
There are people aggressing poor folks at hospitals, banks, schools, PSTA, bus stops, etc. Your thoughts? Your thoughts?
Don't be silent.
Yeah.
Don't be silent. All that it takes for evil to prosper in the world is for good people to do nothing.
Absolutely. You can't see what's in these until you open them, and some of them are just links, and I'm like, okay, thanks for letting folks know about MADR.
Yes.
Okay. And then Trump is and has been running the show with his mega minions in Congress. Just killed the spending bill, yet another shutdown threat, because he knows in a month that he can, quote unquote, save us all and take credit for all the good that has been accomplished. Look back on the items that have been warped and denied in the last 4 years at Trump direction, Gary in Winter Haven. Can't disagree with that, Gary. Although the Democrats made it really easy for them. So yet again, another time to scream for change from the DNC on down, because it's like they literally for the last 8-10 years have just been rolling over there's no fight because you got these dinosaurs in there, these megalomaniac dinosaurs who, like Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, who, it's business as usual, and they squelch and squash any kind of progressive thought to the party. And it's like, here we just spent an election catering to Republicans, and look where it got us. Anyway, Frank just gave me the finger. Ladies, any closing thoughts very quickly?
Yeah, I'd like to get somebody local to come in and talk about Susan Valdez's change from the Democrat to the Republican Party. And we're still working on that, folks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll be juicy gossip. Maria, any last thoughts from you?
No, any chance that Susan Valdez herself can come on?
Oh,
would be even better.
Great idea.
We'd have to vow not to roast her live.
But it's you know what? Don't be in the public eye if you're too scared.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't be
scared.
scared.
Come on in,
Can't be
girl.
scared
Come
and
on
get
in.
in the public eye. Absolutely
Somebody
right.
pass that along.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. Please join us again next week.